mathematics, you can't add up. So tragic, my baggage comes with no backup.
Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video, and as promised, I'm doing a full day of eating because I said I was cutting. I'm already, well, let's see, I weighed in at 234 this morning, and when I started my cut about 4 to 5 weeks ago, I was 242, so I'm about 8 pounds down, which is really good. Made a lot of progress so far, been really consistent, and while there's some days where I could be a little bit better on, I think I'm doing way better on this cut than I did on any other cut. So I'll be showing you guys what I've been eating and my goal for each meal and why I eat each meal, because, well, macros are ultimately what's gonna help you with bodybuilding. There's certain goals that you can have while you're eating. Like, for example, I'm gonna have oats because I feel most energized and satiated when I eat oats versus eggs. Sounds really weird. Not that eggs are bad, like everyone's obviously different, but I usually eat oats because I feel better on oats. I feel more energized. I don't feel sluggish. I feel awake after I eat oats. With eggs, I would feel a bit slow and less cognitive versus oats. I feel just better off of oats. And also I can top it off with blueberries for some antioxidants, because why not? So let's get right into it. Alright, so I already recorded this part, but I angled it wrong because I'm a dumbass. So we got half a cup of oats inside the bowl. Looks like a little bit, but when you put the water and you cook it up, I'm just gonna microwave it. It gets pretty high up. So honestly, it almost feels like half the bowl. Not exactly, but it gets pretty high up. And all those ingredients you see here is gonna be after you already cook it. So this is half a cup, like I said, and then I'm gonna add a cup of water. So it's gonna be half a cup of oats to 1 cup of water ratio. And it's going in the microwave for 3 minutes. All right, so while the oats finish up, I use this protein from Raw. It's glazed donut flavor, really good flavor. And the macros are pretty good on this for how it tastes. Like, I'm really surprised because I'm sure you guys know, most protein powders taste like absolute dog shit. Yeah, here's the macros. It's got 130 calories and 25 grams of protein. Really good. Only 1 gram of sugar. For how good it tastes, I would expect there'd be more sugar in this, but there's not. And what the fuck is going on with my oats? Okay. Alright, so I put it in for 3 minutes, but that shit is still goopy. I don't really like goopy oats. That's like fucking just... And that shit's really messed up. Okay, I'll put it in for another minute. Okay, I don't know if I did something wrong with the oats, but there they are. I'm just gonna have to deal with them being goopy. I usually just put half a cup of oats with 1 cup of water, but maybe that's just too much. Maybe I'll just do 3/4 of a cup, but who cares? All right, so going in to the bowl with it is this protein. As I said before, it's really good macros and it tastes amazing. I tried to get it as good as I could. I spilled some, I'll clean that up, but 1 scoop into the bowl. And for all your dry ingredients, so I guess just that, except for what I'll put on later, but for this, you want to make sure you mix it right after you put it in. You don't want to add anything else in. You want to mix it in first with just the protein or whatever dry ingredient you're using. Like, if you were to put protein, then you mix it, and then what I used to do, but I don't have anymore, is PB2. It's a protein powder. It's not a protein powder, but it's a peanut butter in a powder form. It just has better macros. So you would put the protein in, mix it, and then add the PB2, and then mix it in. So I'll clean this up and then mix it in, and I'll show you guys what it looks like. It looks like sludge a bit, I'm gonna be honest. But, you know, helps me hit my macros, keeps me full. Tastes all right, so I'll deal with it. Next thing I like to add is a bit of ground cinnamon. But before I do that, I'm actually gonna put some vanilla extract just because it's a wet ingredient, so it'll help kind of help out with setting on the cinnamon. In no way am I a chef. Also, you do not need a lot of this. Do not throw a fucking glob of this shit on it. You just need like a wee bit, very little. Maybe that's even too much, but you know, it's alright. Vanilla extract, to my knowledge, has no calories. Yeah, this has like no calories, so it's okay to add this to your meals, especially if you're cooking. It helps it taste better. And yeah, so a little bit of vanilla extract in there. Then we got some ground cinnamon. I was gonna add sea salt to taste, as I'm sure you guys have seen that before, but honestly, I don't really need it in there. I don't care that much. So here's your ground cinnamon. Bam, I just used this brand. No specific brand needed. That's just what I use. I'm just showing. You also don't need a lot of this. I'm just gonna sprinkle some over the top, make it look all pretty. All right, so I know I said I was gonna add blueberries, but I forgot they got old, so and then I threw them away. Not right now, before, but that's essentially the meal. And I'm gonna add some whipped cream. It only adds like what? It's 2 tablespoons for 15 calories, so it'll probably only add like 30 calories. I don't really track this part of the meal just because it doesn't really add a lot of calories to my meal at all. So, and we're out of this. All right, so we're out. Damn, I don't know what's going on. All right, so we're out of this too. So get like that much of whipped cream. So again, my goal for the morning is essentially just to get good energy, good focus, especially because I go to school. So I'm gonna need that focus. So this helps me with that. And I'll get the macros for you guys right now. All right, so this is the meal. Obviously I already showed you guys. The macros comes out to 281 calories, 30 grams of carbs, 5 grams of fats, and 30 grams of protein. Not really a high calorie meal just because it's the morning. I don't wanna eat all my calories in the morning, otherwise I'm just gonna feel like shit later. So honestly, really good macros for the protein I'm getting in. I would usually have either 2 to 4 meals a day, and 2 is on the low end because I would have something like this in the morning, which is really small in calories, and then later I'll just have a big dinner and make sure all my macros are in, and same thing with the calories. I'm not too worried about organic stuff right now just because of the prices, and you know, it's not something that I really want to invest in right now. I mean, you guys can feel free to get everything organic however you want to eat it, non-processed, whatever. But this is just what I like to eat on my cut. Already 8 pounds down, so something seems to be working. I don't know. So, also today's chest and back, I've been doing Arnold just because now that I have a job, I freed up a lot more time for the job so I can get a gym membership because one, working on my school weight room sucks. There's just not really good machines there. I work with what I got, obviously, but if there's a chance that I can get a better experience when working out, then obviously I'm gonna take that. Another thing to note, they won't let me record if there's other people in the shot, and sometimes it gets somewhat crowded in the weight room, especially with the way they've organized it. It's a lot more dense, so I'm trying to make it as cinematic as possible. It's just hard because of, you know, the situation, but I'm not gonna let it affect me that much. Yeah, so this is the first meal of the day. That's breakfast. Most of the time I won't have lunch, and I'll kind of skip that, which is not really something you should do, especially if you're going into the gym. You want to have some sort of food in your system, so I'll pack something for lunch and I'll show you guys what I pack. But I eat this meal and see you guys to the next meal. This is gonna be before the gym, so it'll be like a pre-workout meal. But yeah, as I said, I'll see you guys to the next meal. It'll be a pre-workout meal, so a lot of carbs, definitely. At least for me, I've found that when I don't feel full and I work out, I get a way better workout on it, and I feel way more focused on my mind-muscle connection. I feel a lot more sore after, just because I was able to focus on actually hitting the muscle a lot more than versus, you know, if I were to get a big meal in with a lot of protein and a lot of fat, that's going to keep you full. So I enjoy my workout a lot more if I have carbs for the energy. And it's not really like sugary carbs. You don't want to be eating sugary carbs at all on a cut, especially. It's more of fast digesting carbs. So even could be honey. I know I just said don't have sugar, but if it's sugar like from honey, I found that it worked really well, especially with salt. I got a really good pump, and I had a lot of energy for the workout. So you could always think about that for a pre-workout meal. You could do Greek yogurt and some blueberries. I know people do that. A lot of people do Greek yogurt a lot, but I saw this guy make what was it, a rice cake cereal. What he did, he just put it is what it sounds. He crushed up some rice cakes and just threw it in a bowl and then put some milk on it, and that was his pre-workout meal. Sounds like a good idea, especially for the macros and maybe the taste. But I had an idea, instead of just putting milk, you could just put a protein shake in there, and boom, you got maybe a good ass tasting meal. But meal one, going down the hatch, and then I'll show you guys what I eat before the gym.
Alright, so I know I said I was going to show you guys the meal that I eat before the gym, but I didn't get to eat. I just had a grill in mind. That shit was good as fuck. It's a pre-workout if you don't know what it is, but the first movement we got is incline barbell. Alright, so I forgot to mention that it's my deload week, so I'm not going to be going to failure, but I will be going like close to my working weight, which is 155. And I'll just be still aiming for the same rep range, which is 6 to 10. But I'm not going to failure. I'll probably go to RPE like 7 or 8 for deload, just so that my muscles actually get time to recover from training so hard. Meal today, this isn't an everyday thing, but it's going to be a skirt steak, well, 2 skirt steaks, which comes out to 258 grams of skirt steak, 2 little pieces of sushi, one rib, so like probably 3 ounces of rib, some corn and rice under. The total calories comes about, I don't remember exactly the numbers off the top of my head in FitnessPal, but it was around 900 calories, about 130 grams of protein, and 30 grams of fat, with say around 50 grams of carbs. And this is usually my last meal of the day, but just because I didn't have a lot of calories today, I might eat again later, but most likely not. So yeah, this really concludes the video, and I couldn't get a full recording of my workout just because they told me I couldn't record in there, even though literally just a couple days before they were like, you can record as long as there's no one else in the background. So it's kind of frustrating, but I'll take a bite before this gets cold. That's good as fuck, but yeah, told me I couldn't record for whatever reason, so it sucks. I got what I could, as you guys saw. There's a little edit and everything with me posing. Yeah, so this cut's been going really good actually, and I've been doing my cardio, just been walking for now. Might add in running later, just if I plateau on the cut. That's only if I plateau. I would suggest running if it works for you in terms of burning fat, unless you're doing it for general health. I normally didn't do it because I didn't really care about, you know, my cardiovascular, I guess, fitness. So yeah, that concludes the video. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. This is gonna be a grind from here on out, and all it is just about consistency and output. No more thinking, no more trying to plan ahead. I've already done too much of that. Now it's just about do. Thank you guys for watching.